Welcome to another Gene Key contemplation. We're going to dive into Gene Key 58 as the sun is setting here. The shadow is dissatisfaction. The gift is vitality. And the city is bliss. We're in the in-between, between Christmas and New Year's, and the days are zipping by. And we're sort of at the end of this sun transit of this theme. And it's been a profound time for me. And listening to, today was really the first day that I gave my focus on this gene key. Although upon focusing it, I can see how the themes, as they do, were playing out in my life and actually inspired a really profound project that I've been working on and excited to share more about later. I love what Richard Rudd says in the audio of this one. You know, when you contemplate the word bliss or any of the cities, how do you differentiate them when really all the cities are bringing us to one state, a unified state, a remembrance of our interconnectedness and our oneness with all things, that love is all that there is, and this feeling of returning home to that oneness. And what he said is so beautiful, that it's not about comparing the different words of the cities, but rather it's to find the similarities between the words used in the shadow of the gene key and the city of the same gene key, and to find the connection between the shadow and the city in the words used, and that the shadow is like the seed and the city is the fruit, and the fruit is always there within the seed. The fruit, the city is always there. It never leaves. It's just that in the shadow, in the lower frequencies, in the density of that state, in that victim consciousness, in that disempowered energy, we feel this ache and this dissatisfaction of life, that there's something missing. And so it puts us on a quest, a seeking quest. And that seeking can be unconscious, which usually ends up being destructive, or that seeking can be creative. And it can be like a propulsion that pulls us to find a deeper meaning and truth about our life. And this shadow of dissatisfaction is beautiful in the way that he describes that it unites all of us, that we all experience an ache, and we will all one day lose someone that we love. And allowing ourselves to feel that truth is what truly makes us human. And it's so interesting because just today I was looking, as I have been yesterday as well, and looking through different things that I haven't fully unpacked from my move, if you've been following my contemplation, or just haven't really, everything hasn't found exactly its place yet. And I came across this ring and I just put it on today. This was Sharon's ring. And when she was alive, she asked me if it would be something that I would want, and that the colors reminded her of me. And I haven't worn this ring since the time she gave it to me. And I just found it really beautiful that Richard Rudd speaks to this loss of losing someone or something we love in our life, and how from the highest perspective we never actually lose anyone. And the cliche is that they always remain in our heart. And as he says, it's true. They become part of us. And at the gift level, when we're able to really feel this and embrace this, and also, allow the awareness to shed light on maybe things we had repressed or not want to deal with or feel, that it actually gives us more vitality, and that everything we've lost in our past can bring us more vitality, can bring us more creativity, and that it's just such a beautiful thing. And I just love exploring these gene keys, and especially in the themes of the sun transits, but they work so much magic and so much synchronicity once you dive in, and just finding this key and feeling that truth in my heart, and also Sharon's journey and her loss of her mother at a young age, and the story she shared with me of also losing her daughter at 2 days old, and the vitalities that she was able to maintain in those challenging times is truly inspiring. And then at the Siddhic level of this gene key of bliss was another interesting synchronicity. I was sharing a story that really resonated with what Richard Rudd was sharing, was that bliss, those high frequencies, the siddhis, right, are the fruits. They're the highest expression of what it means to be human. These states are something we need to practice. We need to create the capacity in our body to hold this voltage, as Richard Rudd says, the bandwidth. We have to create the bandwidth to hold this voltage of love, this voltage of bliss. And ultimately, it is the extremes, the highs and the lows in life, and to be able to embrace them all and fully feel them all, and to anchor these higher frequencies into our physical form. It requires practice. And so I was sharing this with Tim just a couple days ago, this practice that I was doing a couple years ago. And I was reminded of it because I had this sort of flashback to those years ago when I was practicing feeling what my higher self or my future self felt like. And I would do these meditations and imaginations, and I would, I let go of the idea that I was manifesting my reality and putting out, a checklist of I want this, I want this, I want this. And instead I was inviting that future version into me. And then from that place, sensing what my world looked like. And I had that sort of memory of like, oh my God, it's here now. I didn't know it was going to look like this, but it felt like this. And Richard Rudd speaks to this exercise of walking in the footsteps of an avatar, someone like Jesus Christ or whoever it may be for you, but the embodiment of somebody, whether that maybe is your future self, your higher self, whatever language or word you want to use, but to practice what it feels like to feel those moments of bliss that maybe we've had fleetingly at different points in our life, but to take the time to remember them and recall them in ourselves, and to feel the fruits, to feel the fruit as if it is here now, because it is here now. And to consciously choose to do that, to take the time in our day, to carve the time in our day to do that. And one last share with Sharon, which I think is funny, and I'm being reminded of, she was battling cancer at the end of her life, and she would have obvious frustrations, dissatisfactions, and after coming home from a challenging day at the hospital, she'd be like, I just need to express my frustration. And she'd put a timer on the oven, okay, 5 minutes. I'm going to allow myself 5 minutes, a little pity party here, and that's it. And she would do that and then bring herself back into a state of grace. And I just think that's such a beautiful share and thing to remember, and just want to honor her in this contemplation very deeply, and honor anyone that you have lost, that you have loved, and just to feel them in your heart and allow that vitality to rise within you. I'd love to hear anything you'd like to share, and I'll see you in the next video.